Hi everybody. I was just doing 2 classes tonight. So I've already got my makeup on. I was going through just the basics of highlighting and contouring and why is awesome and showing, full application with my brushes, which I absolutely love. My favorite way to apply SEINT is with my brushes because it gives me the most control over my coverage and my placement and so on. Plus I just love the brushes. And I have really sensitive skin, as you can tell. If I just touch it, it gets red, right? And so I am pretty careful about touching my face. If I'm gonna be touching my face with my fingers, I wanna make sure I have super clean hands, clean fingers and all that. But since I was doing both those classes with the brushes, I just wanted to quickly show how you can apply the makeup with your fingers, like this paint by numbers, easy application for anyone that has not seen me do that, because I realize I've been favoring my brushes lately, and I do want to show you how quick and easy it can be if you just want to slap it on super fast. So I'm going to leave my eyes done. Get my lips off here. This is just one of my SEINT microfiber cloths. It's really great. Gently exfoliates the skin. Gets it all off. Okay. Yikes. So that's that. Let me just use some sanitizer quickly on my hands. And then let's see the Cheetah Hack. So we call it the Cheetah Hack because we're just using like cheetah dots and stripes to apply. I'm not even going to bother with color correction today. I'm just going to do a quick and easy application. Okay. My 2 highlights, my contour, my lip and cheek. So first of all, I'm going to use my main shade. Okay, so this is Versailles because I am paler than pale right now, and Versailles is usually a brightening shade for most people. For me, I can use it actually as my main when I'm as pale as I am right now. Okay, I can use multiple shades as my main. I can do Candlelit, that's kind of the darkest I can go. Versailles, White Peach. Sometimes I can do Aura. I'm gonna go with a little bit of that on the darkest place. Okay, so you can see I've kind of gone like in the beard area and then forehead. That's kind of where you would put your main shade, okay? Then I'm going to add my contour. So my contour, I'm going with something a little darker today, Astoria. Astoria is pretty good as a neutral contour for most people. Just putting that along my cheekbones, temple, up along my hairline a little bit. Okay, under the lip, I like to emphasize the lips, put a little bit of shadow. It's looking a little crazy. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it down the sides of my nose, almost touching my fingers, because I'm only wanting to leave a small line in the center of my nose to brighten. If you leave that line too wide, it's going to actually widen your nose and do the opposite. So you're wanting that nice little brightened gleam down the center to be pretty small. Okay, I'm looking insane now, aren't I? Pretty crazy. All right, so that's that. Now there's only one color left, one foundation color left of my 3D foundation. That's my brightest one. So this one's called Linen. I'm gonna go straight down the chin. Here. The ball of my nose. And then again, that thinnest part of my nose here. And then up the forehead. So line straight down, okay? And then I'm basically gonna make like a diamond, rough diamond shape. So coming from the bottom of my nose, do, do, do. Do, do, do. Sound effects are optional. And then inner corners of the eyes, straight down the nose. Okay, so I don't want a bunch of this underneath my eyes because I don't want a bunch of makeup gathering there. We want it to move in unison with our skin and just be like a second skin. We don't want more product than our face can take, because then it's going to gather in areas we don't want. So then I'm just blending together using my 3D brush. I could have done my blush and my lip and cheek right there as well, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put that on after. But you totally could if you want to. Oh, you can also put your contour down your jawline if you want to define that a little bit more as well. If you find that your jawline is kind of losing some firmness and some definition, feel free to just go right along that bone structure and define that too. It's your rules, your face, your rules. But whatever you use contour on, that's gonna kind of sculpt that area and make it recede. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna look like shadow. So think about where you want those shadows, because wherever you put the shadow is also going to emphasize the area that's brighter. And the bright areas are what's gonna pop forward. So on me, there's a lot of bright areas because I'm very pale. Thank goodness for contour to give a little bit of that definition. I think I made my eyes a little bit messy there when I was taking off my makeup, but that's okay. All right, blend up the nose. See how well it blends out though? It's just like amazing. Now again, I like the control of being able to apply with my brushes, but if you're just wanting to go fast and you're still getting the hang of placement and stuff like that, this is a really great way. And a lot of my new clients as well, when you're still getting the hang of your makeup and you're not sure where to put it, I will usually have you put it on like this for me first and take a picture for me before you blend it, so I can see, first of all, how much you're using, and secondly, where you're putting it. And then I can help you tweak it if it's not quite going on right or you're not sure. It's really helpful for me to see your placement and how much you're using, because a lot of times ladies are not going to like the way it looks if they're putting on too much. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes somebody's putting on not enough, and I can see that as well from your placement. So it's really helpful for me to see kind of your Cheetah Hack, where you're putting it. But once you get the hang of it, you might even prefer putting it on with your brushes, because it almost saves a step that way. You can kind of just blend it as you go and apply as much as you want, you know. Just if you are going to apply with your brushes, make sure that you're dabbing it into your product rather than swiping it, because you're going to pick up too much product that way and you're going to go through it too fast. And these products, your foundations should last you 3 to 4 months minimum. Like if you're using it every day, you should not be going through it earlier than 3 months. And if you are, you're probably using too much. Okay, so that's your contour and your highlights. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of cheek color, lip and cheek color, just brightening a bit, kind of fiddling. So now for my blush, I guess I'll use the same brush. Keep things simple. I love my blush and bronzer brush, but I'm going to keep it simple. Apply a little bit of Summer Love, which is a pretty, very subtle pink. Kind of a little at a time. And I apply that above the contour, moving up towards the temples. Okay, and then my multitasker brush. So that's without color correction under the eyes or anything like that. You can totally do all that if you want perfect, spotless coverage and you want to fiddle with those things. But those 4 basics can do so much. You can have a palette that fits all your eyeshadows, brow wax, bronzer, anything you want. But these 4 things just change your skin in such a short period of time. It's awesome. So that's the Cheetah Hack. Super easy for anyone that hasn't seen me do that in a while. You can also use your contour if you want to on your brows. And if you don't have eyeshadows, you can use your contour and your lip and cheek on your eyes too, which is super handy. I think my line brush had a little bit of cocoa eye shadow in it still, so my brows are a little extra dark, but that's okay. I actually don't mind it. So there you go. That's the line brush. And that's it. Now, if I wanted to warm up my skin, I could, in my other palette, I have like my bronzer, I have lots more lip and cheeks to play with and stuff like that. So, you know, if you wanted to get a palette that's a bit bigger and that has more room for other stuff like that, you can add, I love this brush. You could add some warmth. Lord willing, we will have some warmth soon. We were so excited. We had spring and we had, you know, we were wearing t-shirts for like 2 days. Things were starting to look green. And then another blizzard. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? So back out came the winter coats and the gloves. But anyway, there. Now my makeup at least looks like I've had some warmth even though I haven't. I wanted to mention that you always want to set your makeup, especially if you are still wearing masks and you don't want any transfer on your mask. This makeup is designed to move with your skin, which is amazing. This is exactly why it's the best makeup ever, because it moves with your skin, in unison with your skin, like a second skin. So that is what we want. However, because it can move and doesn't just cement into your face, if you want it to stay on all day, you may want to set it. So you have 2 options for setting. The first is powder. I don't always love powder because of that whole cementing thing. So even though I still prefer it to powder foundation or a liquid foundation, because that makeup itself is going to cement into the face. And a powder on top of this is still going to allow it some movement, which is good. However, you have to be very careful if you're going that route with the powder. First of all, I only recommend it to people that have very oily skin. And secondly, you want to use a very lightweight powder. So SEINT does have a beautiful setting powder called Vanilla Dust, and you can get it on the website under collections with this brush, which is a great tool to have if you're going to use a setting powder, because it's designed beautifully to set your makeup. So you can, it's got this nice domed, sleek side. So anywhere that you want to use it, I really love actually to apply Vanilla Dust setting powder on my lids before I do an eyeshadow look. I find it just gives a nice smooth base. It's also good for under the eyes here, anywhere that you want to apply it. It's got another end here that's also good for kind of stamping it in. So if you're very oily and you want a setting powder, that's a great option. However, I prefer a setting spray. I love the SEINT setting spray. This is skincare as well as a setting and priming product. So it has hydrochloric acid, which makes it a favorite of a lot of women to use actually before they even put their makeup on. So with SEINT, you don't really need a primer. In fact, a lot of primers kind of repel cream makeup, so it makes it, it kind of does the opposite of what you would want. And you don't really need a primer most of the time because, again, the makeup's designed to move with your skin. So if you have something like a silicone primer on and then you go to put the makeup on, it's just going to slide off it instead of working with your skin. So I don't recommend a silicone primer especially. But if you're going to use a primer at all, I would recommend more in the way of like a hydrating primer or something along the lines of skincare. So anyways, this is the SEINT Stay Spray. It has hydrochloric acid, which has like a plumping action in it, which is fantastic, especially for mature skin. It has green tea, aloe vera, some really nice skin nourishing properties. So it hydrates your skin and just makes it feel really good. And it smells great as well. So you can apply this first or just apply it after. And you can spray it directly on your face. I've already done mine now from the other group. It comes out like a fire hose, so don't be expecting a nice little mist. It's actually gonna come out like squirting on your face. So you can do that. I would just recommend holding it back though and kind of doing like an X shape. Or you can apply it directly to your Perfector sponge. So this is a fantastic tool. If you do not have a high-end sponge like the Sephora Beauty Blender, then I would recommend our Perfector sponge, which is just as good as that sponge and cheaper. So this is better in my opinion because it's cheaper and it works just as well, if not better. And I use it damp. So you want to run it under water until it grows in size. It's going to like double in size. When it's the regular size, it fits in this little tin. So once it's big, it won't fit in the tin anymore. And then once you've gotten it nice and wet, you're going to dry it out. So I take like a microfiber cloth or towel and I will squeeze all the water out of it so that it's not wet anymore, but it's still nice and fluffy and bouncy. And then I will take it with the setting spray and I will just stipple it into the skin. And this is that final step that you don't want to skip, because if you have any excess product on your face, this is going to make sure you get it off so that you don't have too much on and it's not going to gather where you don't want it gathering. And it's going to press it in and smooth it into your pores so that it locks it in place. It doesn't accentuate, those fine lines or anything like that, texture. And it continues to move in unison with your skin. So it's a fantastic last tool, last step that you don't want to skip. So this is the Perfector sponge. Stay Spray is my favorite, but if budget is an issue for you, you can use any setting spray. NYX has a really affordable one. It's the Dewy Setting Spray. Obviously the ingredients aren't going to be the same, but if you're looking for something cheap that's still going to work, I would use the NYX Dewy Setting Spray. And that's a great one for like $8, I think. So that's that. I'm just noticing my eyeshadow. Anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know and I would be really happy to answer them. Let me know if you want a color match and I would be really happy to work with you on that. And that's it. Have a great night.